Hey, people, what's good? This is episode 77. Got Liz Ribble, got Drew Canan in the background, and the episode starts right now. La 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 la. Warm it up. La 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 la. Them boys are waiting. My milkshakers and the boys from the yard. So what's up, people?
Right.
Jason DeBase. This is episode 77 in the house, back in the house. Entertainer, actor, performer, Liz Ribble, and behind her, I got Drew Canan from the Bad Boys series. Drew, before we got in the air, and I know you gotta bounce in and out or whatever, but I wanted to keep you on long enough. How has this pandemic messed with, like, we talked a little bit about stage, but let's start with film. How has it affected film?
Yeah, so I mean, like everybody else, the pandemic's just killing every industry, and it's the same on the film side. Throughout the year, the major film industries shut down here and there, and like some of the bigger shows, like some of the NCISs, procedurals, some of your favorite shows that are on TV, working every week, they just had to shut down and stop production. So a lot of those for months out of this last year have been out, and because of that, the rest of the industry shut down. A lot of auditions stopped because with the questions surrounding COVID, nobody knew what to do, and with film productions having such big crews, they couldn't take the chance to even film anything new or have an audition. So as everybody else in the world navigated through this, so did we, and that's what we did. But a lot of work was missed out on this past year, which
no doubt. Yeah, and you and Broadway, right, was like a ghost town.
Broadway, it's a ghost town through 2021. They're still shut down. They made that decision though. Oh man, like halfway through the pandemic, they decided to shut down all the way through 2021. Yep. Now, with the vaccines coming out and everything, maybe it might change a little bit. Fingers crossed.
Did you see, and before you go, one last question before you bounce, because from there it's just me and Liz, because god damn it, she's come a long way. Did you see Tom Cruise flip the F out on that crew?
Oh my gosh. Well, he was telling me actually that SAG, if you're under SAG, they're super, super strict. So like on one side, if I'm like pro his freak out, then it does make sense on why he didn't want like the movie shut down. Mm-hmm. But that was like insane. That was better than his proposal.
Dude, hold up one sec. Let's see if we got it. Breaks the news. Look at these people chilling. This is why Tom Cruise got mad. This is what it's called. Oh man, all right. So I don't know. I'll let that keep rolling as we go. But he's like, I don't ever want to see you. If you do it again, you're out. You're out. Man, dude. Let me tell you something. That I grew up. That's how your boss was supposed to talk to you.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, now a boss can't even say boo on Halloween. It's like, I mean, it's so weird that like a boss these days has to apologize to their employee for their employee fucking up. I'm like, no. Super necessary. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Drew, do you agree?
Agree on what?
How Tom? I mean, did Tom Cruise go too far, or was it just right?
So I think in Tom Cruise fashion, for what who we know him as, I think it was just right. As far as Tom Cruise, and it's funny. There's I do kind of agree with him because he's also a producer. He produces a lot of his things as well, so he's dumping a lot of money and he's taking a lot of precautions. As he said in the video, he's doing all these things to try and keep people having jobs. So there is that aspect of it's like the least you can do is abide by the very strict rules that are in place so that you can have the job.
It's like how many people stand to lose, right? So many people stand to lose because a few people can't just do this little thing for this short amount of time. Yep.
But I think to your point too, I think he comes from an older school of thought too, where it's just like he yells it and he let his point be known. And to me, I loved it because it's like I remember that growing up too. I was like,
Yes.
that was my constructive criticism. It came in the form of yelling. So.
And it also shows
yeah,
that he's always in character.
Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like something he would do in a movie? Don't you ever do that again. You're all out.
Yeah.
You understand me? You're all out, you know?
Bye.
Dude, I saw him in New York and he walked by me and he said, I have to pee. You know, like everything is dramatic. He couldn't just say, I got to use the bathroom. No, Tom Cruise was one dimensional. I have to pee. Yes. And you Scientologists, you free Tom Cruise. All right. Free Tom Cruise. You Christian Scientologists. Free him. You know, and free John Travolta.
Oh, we got to admit, that's a t-shirt.
Yes. And rehab Leah Romani.
Exactly.
Cool, man. Thank you so much, Uncle Drew. Thanks for sticking around, man.
Of course. Yeah,
Cool.
I might pop in and out, but y'all have a fun time.
Yes, and you and me do it. We do this. We do this soon too. Okay. We do this again
Dude,
soon
I love
too.
it.
Yeah.
I
all
love
right.
it.
Cool.
Awesome.
So
Right.
Liz,
Later,
man. Later, buddy. So Liz.
Dude.
Ah,
God.
shit. All right. So Liz.
Let's see, am I back? Yeah.
So, God, how empty does this feel without Miranda?
Dude, that's my girl.
Yes, she is.
Dad.
Listen, I think, look, since the pandemic, the podcast has only gotten better in a way that people didn't have to fly in to do the podcast. So if I have a friend in New York, you know, if someone's in Chicago, I had a volleyball player, Dave McKenzie, he's in Malaysia, for Christ's sakes. So, you know, Tina Gardina splits her time in LA and Latvia. So it did help me with my client base as far as interesting people, you know, which is included but not limited to star power. I just want interesting people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Liz, there are people who probably make more money than you, than probably, you know, have a nicer car.
Unfortunately.
No,
Yeah.
but when I tell, you ever see Avengers, the movie Avengers?
That's my shit.
When Captain America told Tony Stark, he's like, "What would you be without that suit?" And he goes, "Millionaire, entrepreneur, playboy." Right? So, and I thought that was a cute line. But Captain America said after this, and this is what got under his skin. He said, "I know guys who are none of those things worth 10 of you."
Yeah.
Tell me
He's
been
that
in
the face of war, though.
No, but when I say I have friends, or I know people who are none of those things worth 10 of you, I give you a Liz Ribble. I mean, you don't look. We both have good lives. We're in the South Bay. You know what I'm saying? We get to sing, we get to perform, we get to do whatever we want for money. You know, sometimes we do it for free. But so we fell into or inserted ourselves into a better life than most. So I'm not saying that you're down on your luck or anything, but I don't think you let material things or your need to play the validation game over define who you are, and I respect that. You know.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I don't live by material objects.
No.
Drew's more of a minimalist than I am because like I love living where we live, and I love having what I have, but I'm very grateful for every little trinket, every little thing that I have, and I try to teach that lesson to my son as well. And I'm just like, you're right, you said it best, like we're living the life in South Bay. Like you can't go wrong here. I can bike down to the beach and just go chill. But no, I mean, I don't have much to complain about because I got food, a roof over my head, and I have my loves, my son and Drew. So.
Yeah, man. Your killer voice too, man. Great voice. And I know people are trying to steer you that direction from performer to like maybe recording something, right? Yeah. Nah.
No, yeah, but like I get too nervous. Like it's different when we're let me set the mood. Okay, when we're at Hennessy's and there's like maybe like 6 of us there, and we got Leslie, hosting it and everything. It's just such a different feel. It's more of my escape. It's like nothing else in the world matters but those 6 people that made it, that are the regulars, that like we know exactly what's going to happen. We're going to cheer our people on. Like it's such like a different thing than actually going and like performing for like hundreds, or like, you know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's my escape. It's my shedding of one of my skins. You know, I'm a chameleon. I like to think of myself as a chameleon, and that's one of my colors. You know, like I love it.
I think definitely. I think, you know, the cool thing is like shapeshifter makes people think you're like a whole bunch of personalities, and maybe you are, but it's not like you're any of the personalities is you pretending to be something that you're not. You are all right. We are all of those people. But I mean, who says you have to be this one kind of person that you know, like, listen, I know people the same way they speak to each other, to people at work, or the same way they speak to their wife and their kids or whatever in their family at home. And then there's some people, the way they're at work, they behave a certain way, but then with their friends, they're just freaking wild and this and that. The weird thing is, I think the higher your stature is, I think the more people lose some of that, because they give up a lot of their personal life because they're scared of their behavior outside of the office, or whether they're a finance person, you know, building their reputation or portfolio. Yeah. You know, you're not going to be standing on a table singing I don't know, all that jazz, right? So, you know, someone films that and your boss is like, what are you doing? And you're like, well, that's my personal life. What? Oh, she seems to think she has a personal life. So, and in our line of work of entertainment, right? Once someone decides to be an entertainer, no matter what level, you do it for nothing, you do it for nickels and dimes, you do it for a ton of money, you do give up some of your personal life. And it's so weird watching rich people be like, oh, I want his privacy. I'm like, no, you took the money, you know? And I'm not one of those people flashing a camera in your face, but you had to know that, right? You have to know things come with the territory, right? If you're a practicing attorney, if you're a defense attorney, guess what? Sometimes you might have to represent someone that did it.
Yeah.
Somebody that did it.
And that's really harsh way of putting it. Yes. They did it, but you still have to represent them, because why? That's your job title. That's what you decided to be. That's what you put all your energy and focus into. And you, like I said, I'm like, you're taking the checks. You accepted the money. So... Mm-hmm. No.
Please, if I was a lawyer, I would have loved to defend Martha Stewart, right? Because she's someone she's so gracefully. No, but that's what I'm saying. She could have There's no celebrity that was better at manning up than this woman. And just be like, hey, all right, true. I got to go to prison. Just send me to Fort Myers, where the only thing softer than the guards are the pillows. You know, I'll do my year. I get out, and guess what? I'm still gonna sell some stuff. I'm gonna make CBD for dogs. Okay,
dude. Have you seen some of the commercials she recently just put out, where she was like, she's like cutting the fish, and she's like, and this is how you fillet a fish, and the other person's talking. She's like, excuse me. Like she's like on there. Yes. Oh my gosh. And I was like, you turned it around, dude. Girl. And she made even more of a name for herself. Like shit. Like I feel like I heard her names like more after she got locked up than before.
Yes. Let me tell you something. There's Lil' Kim had to do a year for I guess lying to the police, perjury. She had to do a year for perjury. She came out. You know, she was gone for a minute, came back, did an album, never really heard about her since. But in rap, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you spend. So, you know, as long as she signed with the right people and she didn't take too many advances, I'm sure she ain't broke, you know. And she did live and do her music at the time of residuals. Like, you know, you get mm-hmm. pennies for whatever sells. So you sell 1 million records at a penny a piece, that's still $10,000. So But check this out. Martha Stewart launches a line of CBD dog treats. Hold up a sec. We got to pull this shit up. You can't make this up. All right. Sorry, I didn't. Let's move that. Martha Stewart wants to help pet owners turn their dog days into dog days.
Oh
She
my
is bringing a
god.
new line of CBD dog treats to the market.
Dude, those dogs are gonna be lit. They're gonna just be chilling.
Look, people,
But at least they get the taste of Martha Stewart in their mouth.
let me tell you something. People.
I don't know, like, that's what I'm thinking in my head.
But look, it's, you know why, right? Because people are now, I mean, not now, but people have for quite some time been taking their dogs with them, right? They get doctor's notes. I want to take my little dog on the plane. It's there for emotional support. And they get doctor's
Yeah.
letters. You bring your dog on the train. It's just, these little handbag dogs. I call us accessories. I don't even call them dogs, but they are
They're
cute. No,
accessories.
they are cute.
For sure.
They're accessories. But now, like, I don't know. Maybe do you think maybe some of these dogs get like nervous in environments and just shit, and just shits. That's why maybe that's why CBD helps, right?
No, well, okay, so I do have to say this. So we have a dog here. It's my roommate's dog, and his name's Cooper, and he's the most adorable little fluffer ever. Okay, but he does get like nervous, and he does get anxious. And it's so sad because you see him and he's like biting himself and stuff because he's just like, nervous. Like mom's gone, everybody's gone because we all like are in and out of the house. And I just kind of, and she feels bad. She's like, my baby, and that is her baby. So, I mean, like for that, like a CBD treat would like definitely help for that, like for the dogs that are nervous. But he's like any other time, like chill, relaxed, like totally cool dog. But like when it's time, like for mom to leave and stuff, like, just come here, get it, like open your mouth for Martha Stewart. Come on,
dude. I could just picture it though, right? Like you have a dog on the plane, and the flight attendant's like, are you doing okay? And how's your dog doing? And the dog is just like, just kind of like show his teeth.
That's it.
So right? Yeah. Take the dog to the comedy show, gonna start laughing at jokes. So I mean, what the fuck? And okay, you're back. But but I'm like, CBD for dogs, dude. CBD for dogs. Martha Stewart, but where you at? We love you. And you are a gangster. No doubt. So,
shit.
I mean, I worked at a doctor's office, and I had to edit and type so many letters for. I guess it's weird. Like Lauren Bacall, celebrity, she had a dog named Sophie, and she brought that dog. That dog goes on the plane. Sophia Loren, I think she had a pet at the end. It's. They are there. I mean, I tease people. You're making a bullshit excuse to have your dog on a plane for emotional support. But guess what? I think when you look at someone and they don't, maybe they're single, right? Or maybe their significant other passed away, and they have this dog, and it's there. It's there when they need it. And I'm like, okay, wow, okay. How fast do I type this shit up, man? That emotional support is a real thing. That, I mean, not just the man's best friend, right? It's a real thing, dude.
The human's best friend.
I actually had a study on it I was gonna put up, but I think we've gone way past the study that shows how this.
Well, I do want to ask you.
Go ahead.
What kind of dog do you think of, or that you would see more as an emotional support dog? And I only ask because my sister has one, and it's just, I want to see what you think. Like
for myself?
No, just like for anybody. Like, what is the one dog
shit.
you're like,
all right, well, let me start with me. For myself, I had an Alaskan Malamute when I was little. So for everybody that doesn't know what an Alaskan Malamute is, I want you to picture what a Siberian Husky looks like, right? And then it doesn't have blue eyes. It has dark eyes. And now you take this Siberian Husky and you inflate it. You blow it up maybe 1.5 times as big. And that's what I had. And I had an Alaskan Malamute when I was 9 years old. So when you're 9 years old,
you were so little.
So you're this little tiny person, right? I'm this little tiny person, and I'm walking this huge dog, which I mean, when you're 9 years old, it looks like a dire wolf. Have anyone seen Game of Thrones? What the dire wolves look like?
Yeah.
Whoa! All right, so here's a good picture of one.
Look at
That's
the face.
that's huge. That's a fluffy Malamute.
That's a fluffy baby
Yeah,
right there.
so-
It's a furry baby.
Here's one as a puppy. These are ones as a puppy. And as puppies, they're mistaken for
Love
huskies
the
because
tail.
at around this time, they're the same size. But if you look at the legs, it doesn't show the paws or anything like that. Those things grow. That's one as a puppy. So
But
myself,
their paws are huge. As
so
a
for
puppy.
myself,
It's
for emotional
all in the
support,
hand.
I always go back. I can't. It's an involuntary reflex. I instinctively go back to the Malamute. This dog. As a 9-year-old, I lay on top of, and it's like this
Your
big
big
old
pillow.
furry. Yeah, it's this big old furry blanket. And let me tell you this: when you walk a Malamute down the street, and you're 9 years old, everyone gets the fuck out of your way.
Yeah.
Because they
Okay,
know
that's what-
if that
Go ahead,
Malamute wants to
go
wants to tug you with it. You're not. I mean, look, the leash is just an accessory. You're 9 years old.
Seriously.
You can't control what that dog wants to do. So
No. Oh my gosh, squirrel, run.
yes, or little dog barking at you. You know how like little dogs walking,
Oh.
patrolling around looking for big dogs to mess with. They're on the leash like, oh man, you are so lucky. If I didn't have this leash, boy, and the Malamute would wait. He'd
But
like
stop.
no, but the cool thing about my dog is he wouldn't go after the little dog right away. He'd wait. He's smart. He wait because he knows I'm securing it to make sure it doesn't happen. And when he waits, I'm like, all right, cool. He doesn't care. And then like 3 seconds later, whoa, he just goes after. I'm like, So for me, I think of Alaskan Malamute. We talked about Tom Cruise. His comfort dog, I would say German Shepherd.
What would his comfort dog be?
I would say German Shepherd.
German Shepherd.
For
Oh my
Martha
goodness.
Stewart, definitely a Pomeranian, one of those little Pomeranians.
Oh,
One of those
the little yappers.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
Yeah, no, but for sure. I
Listen,
could
Martha
definitely
Stewart
see
could
her.
probably have a conversation with that dog. It's like, do you want breakfast? It's like it's the type of bark.
Absolutely.
Yes. How
Do
about
you?
you?
Want some CBD treats?
Yes.
I just went for that.
Do you want CBD treats? just
So
wagging
from
back.
yesterday, the other batch. The dog's the tester.
Ooh, for the people that tuned in on this, waiting for a volleyball podcast. Sorry for the people tuning in on this, wanting to leave a better version of yourself. maybe stick around. Maybe you'll get something out of this. This is
you'll
just
learn
purely for
something.
fun and the purpose of the podcast is to provoke thought using sports, entertainment, health, and wellness, and current events. This is the entertainment part. What about your comfort dog?
So I would take my sister's dog as my comfort dog because this is my baby.
Okay.
Her name is Harley Quinn, and she is a pit bull mastiff. She is huge, and she cuddles you like a human. She lays down and she opens up her legs and her arms, and she comes over and she cuddles you. She's my baby, and she has luscious lips, and that's just like the little flappers just go everywhere. That would be my comfort dog. Also, it would instill fear into everybody I walk by. Like, move.
No doubt.
No.
Yeah. Oh, come on. Look, I don't know if I have a natural fear of little dogs, but I don't know why I tend to give them their space. I have more respect for their space more than I have for a bigger dog. My girl and Kelly, like my significant other, she's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm just like, "Go on the other side, please." And she's like, "You got to be kidding me. You got to be
walk
kidding
on
me."
this side.
So
Women should know chivalry's not dead, like on their end.
No,
either,
it just
so.
smells funny. I mean, so right? That's how the play goes. Chivalry isn't dead. It just smells funny.
Oh, I'm stuck on these treats. So every time you take a walk with your woman, you just have a bag of Martha Stewart CBD dog treats.
Mm-hmm.
Just drop them, and that dog will chill out. Like every time you pass by, he's gonna remember you.
I can't even imagine. What the hell's a cop gonna say? You have a prescription? Oh, cool. It's California. Oh, cool. You have a prescription for yourself, and you're like, not well.
No,
not exactly. Not exactly.
Have you seen Due Date?
No, tell me.
No. Okay, so there's this scene with Robert Downey Jr. in the car, and oh my gosh, this guy, the other guy, always like his name escapes me. Oh my gosh, but I love him. He's a phenomenal comedy, like comedian and actor. Like, oh, I'm so in love with him. But he has a dog with him. And so Robert Downey Jr.'s character takes like a little nap on the road, right? And they're going through the border of somewhere.
Yeah.
And all of
Oh,
a
it was
sudden he
Zach.
wakes up to the smell of weed. Yes, Zach.
Yeah.
Yes. And he wakes up, he's smelling. He was like, it's for my glaucoma. He's stoned, right? Zach's stoned. And the dog's stoned out of his mind. It like just sitting there like a poor freaking dog was in space. But that's how I feel like cops would knock on the window
Hell yeah.
of a car.
And why the hell
Ridiculous.
isn't legal in every state is beyond me. I mean, I think Chris Rock phrased it the best. They don't want you to buy, they want you to buy their drugs. They don't want you to buy these drugs. They want you to buy
That's true.
their drugs. And honestly, as far as their drugs is concerned, and maybe we're talking about Big Pharma, or maybe we're not talking about it. When the hell are they going to get on board and get some of this money? I mean, you make it legal. Don't you think Big Pharma is going to get on board and make some of this money? This way, people have their CBD, and this person is making a pile of money off of people who buy it. Like, I don't even, and I'm not even, look, I'm one of the bigger promoters of the legalization of it, and yet I myself have never, I never even smoked a cigarette. I've never did an edible, never smoked a joint, never put anything up my nose or
Wow.
whatever. I mean, my Brooklyn and Irish and African American upbringing just only permitted me to drink alcohol, but you know, and I think I'm cool with booze because I don't have the same negative effects that other people have about booze.
Yeah.
Like we've been at Hennessy's so many times, all right, and we're gonna get back to Hennessy's for a minute because we were talking about this escapism and this space within this
Yeah.
space, and I want to address that in a minute because that's as important as it is entertaining. But
Yeah.
some Jesse Ventura phrased this best, just ex-governor, and WWF star and former Anthrax bodyguard. You never saw someone smoke a joint, go home and beat their wife. Right? With alcohol, you just never know. In a bar, every
Yeah.
guy thinks he's an MMA fighter. Every girl thinks she's Madonna and she's sloshed all over the place and sloppy, breath smell
I've
like
been
something
there.
died farting in her mouth. And I'm like, how many stories do you hear? This was a marijuana CBD related incident. It just doesn't make look.
Came home
If you
after
look,
smoking a long joint.
yeah, no, but I think the point I was trying to make, if you look really hard and if you search, it's the internet, you're going to find anything to support your argument. And maybe there's 1 or 2 or 3 cases out there, but if I'm wrong, I think I'm only wrong 3 times, and I think alcohol, I'm right 150,000 times. So let's just get on this legalization thing. One of my close friends, he's the founder of American Hemp Company. He's in Seattle or Washington, either Washington or Oregon. His name is Chris Ships. Man, I get my video flagged every time because he's just lighting up. We're doing the podcast and he's just lighting up at the same time, and I'm like, okay, there goes my views, So the last time I had him on the podcast, it was election night, and it was the perfect time to do it. And you're gonna love this story. He's like, Jay, I'm only here for entertainment. If you think like I got in this podcast because we decided to do an election night podcast, he says, if you think I'm on this podcast giving a shit about what happens tonight, you're wrong. I already know what's going to happen. He says, you're going to look at the polls and Trump's going to be ahead and everybody's going to go to bed. And when they wake up the next morning, it's going to be tied or Biden's going to be ahead. And then all of the Trumpers are going to be like, oh my God, it's rigged. I told you it's rigged. Oh, they should have stopped the count. If you listen to this podcast, and I don't know the episode number, he was on my show twice. He walked me through everything that was going to happen before it happened. And during election night, as it was happening, I'm like, oh man, I thought Biden was ahead in Ohio. He just lost. This Biden's ahead in Florida. It looks like he's going to whatever. He's like, Jay, trust me, this is not going to end tonight. It's going to go on for days. And then when the count is done, it's still going to go on. He called it. He called
Yeah.
it. Yeah, he's. I mean,
I know
he's.
some people like
The
that.
man's been in
too.
the same room as Donald Trump a bunch of times because he used to bartend in exclusive clubs in New York, and he's seen Trump's behavior as a human being. As a president, whoever's listening, I don't know, I don't care. You know, I ain't trying to throw hands with you because you believe in some guy you never met in your life. You ain't gonna get your ass. I ain't gonna kick your ass over Trump. Sorry, you know, or Biden for that matter, right? Remember we had that discussion a few months ago, like yeah, but remember we had that discussion. We had some funny videos, right, of them saying funny shit. We put up like 2 videos. It was Miranda.
Yeah.
Miranda, we miss you.
Oh my gosh,
Miranda, we
Miranda.
love you. But I tell you the same thing I tell everybody else. Don't make this more complicated than it is. If you think Biden entering November on a dementia drumstick, half of his mind. If you still think that's still better than Trump, then vote for him. And if you don't, vote for Trump. Because to me, it was that simple. You're not looking for honor, integrity, or someone that led his life or whatever. No, I just want someone in office who's a good guy. He don't even need to be a great guy. Just be a good guy, and don't rape nobody. You know, don't rape nobody. Don't
Hands to yourself. We'll do kids rules. Hands to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
But isn't that amazing? Like, I think the problem is, and we're jumping out of politics as fast as I get, and I promise you, because that's not why we're on this show. But I think the reason why people get so heated because it's gotten so far that if you argue for someone, if he does something wrong, the person that voted for him feels like they're flawed just because their candidate's flawed, and that's a mistake.
Yeah.
You don't have to feel. Why if your candidate fucked up or effed up? That's it. He effed up. I'm not, like everybody's like, oh, if you voted for Trump, you're not my friend. I'm like, okay, fuck off.
Yeah, I saw that. Like a lot of on Facebook and stuff, and everyone being
Get
one
over
way
yourselves.
or another. So radical one way and radical the other. I'm like,
but
I
because
completely stay out of it.
No, but it's because
will befriend me.
No, but Liz, it's because they feel like if their candidate did something wrong, and if they voted for that person, they either themselves feel ashamed, or someone shames them, or they rewire their brain where they have to make up excuses for that person. Like, if he did something wrong, it's like, oh, that's not true. Oh, that's fake news. Oh, that's a lie. Or if the person's dead to rights, oh, but what about that candidate? That candidate did this too. So there's this lack of accountability, which leads to rationalization. And if there's no rationalization to have, the whataboutism. What about this person? Oh, what about that person? This and that. So, and it's hijacked. It was a shitty year, right? 2020 was a shitty year.
I'm sorry. It was just really
It was just a shitty year, dude.
everything.
It was a year, like, we should just call this year 2020 this way and forget last year happened, except
Redo?
I'd like to, but you still got to honor and remember all the good people that last year claimed, right? I mean, we're in entertainment, right? Sean Connery he passed away. Yeah. Kobe Bryant, sports is more my wheelhouse, more volleyball, but honestly, Kobe Bryant died a rock star's death. Like you won 5 NBA championships, right? You're like this awesome human being. You turned into a good father. You maybe you've done some fun or cranky shit when you were a kid, but there's nothing that LA appreciates more than like someone who takes something and just uses it and crushes it. And it's like a rock star. Like if you look at every rock star that's won like Grammy after Grammy after Grammy, and then you find out they killed themselves, right? They're immortalized.
Yeah.
They've hit this point where they're at their highest point, and if they're gone, that's what people remember them by. And Kobe, I mean, I'm not saying him dying was a good thing, so everyone listening, just shut up. But no, his untimely death cemented his status. He is now an immortal.
He is a god in the eyes, of the people.
And and didn't he bring everybody else back to life? Like if he died, it makes you question your own mortality because to his fans, he was Superman. Superman can't die. Superman doesn't die, does he? Superman doesn't die in helicopter crashes. So
gives me chills.
It does. Well, who knows? Gives me chills. Chadwick Boseman. He also passed away.
There's so many
I
people.
had a
It's so
list.
hard to keep up with like
Mhm.
the death toll right now. Like not only are people who are not immortalized, but
Yeah.
like everybody. And I don't know. I'm not
It's
trying
true.
to
Well,
be
the younger
ignorant and
people,
know, but
listen, the younger people gives us chills. The
yeah.
younger people, like Chadwick Boseman, there's no better way to go out. You are a black actor, and you got to play Jackie Robinson, Thurgood Marshall, uh,
Hmm.
um, James Brown, and then ultimately the
Yeah.
Black Panther.
Yep.
If he only did those 4 movies and retired alive, okay, it would have cemented his legacy anyway. But
Yeah. Well, even on interviews, he said he was like, I'm very like I only take the roles that I think are of substance, that have meaning behind it. And he was really smart as an actor and an entertainer because he was very choosy on what he was on and what he put his name on.
yep,
And that I think is brilliant. But then when the sad demise of him, like, when he went, like everybody was just jaw dropped. When I found out, I was like, oh my gosh. And that's why he turned off like his Instagram like comments because of how like skinny he was getting, because he didn't let his personal like life out just yet. But
no, he
then like
was.
it was just like one thing after another, and then all of a sudden, boom. Like he had so much more in him, and the roles that he could have played later on, like,
He was like the
oh
Black Tom Hanks. I mean, he was someone. You want to talk about celebrities that find their way to keep their privacy. Right, he's not out there in no high speed chase. He's not. You don't hear his wife calling. He's beating me up. You don't hear no crazy nonsense like that. He
yeah,
was like the Black Tom Hanks. He just.
yeah,
I mean,
pretty
the
much.
guy. At some point he was probably going to win an Oscar, and that's the only way we're sad to see him go.
Yeah,
Given his age, like you said, it brings new meaning to the term goosebumps. Some of these
yeah.
older celebrities, they die. It's like, damn. Look, come on. At that age, like Brian Denny, he passed away. All right. Kirk
Yeah.
Douglas, Michael Douglas's father, Joel Schumacher, Regis Philbin, Alex Trebek from Jeopardy. At that
Yeah.
age, you don't even know what they died, but you assume it's natural causes, right? Look,
All
if
right.
Alex Trebek got
Robin
hit by a
Williams.
car, you
Now,
still go ahead.
Robin Williams. I know his age, but
Yeah,
that one was a hard hit.
yeah, and that was 2000.
Yeah, but not
Yeah,
this year. But I'm just saying, when it comes to like age and stuff, like
yeah.
yeah, like when they're getting up there, but there's those one actors, like doesn't matter what age they are. They could be like Betty White.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like Like it doesn't matter. That one is an impact. Like
Well, because they're younger.
oh
If people forget, Robin Williams and Lauren Bacall passed away the same day. But Robin Williams was a bigger story because everyone thought it was before his time. Like Lauren Bacall, again, if you're old, it's natural causes. If Lauren Bacall got hit by a car, you know what? They're still gonna call it natural causes, because if she were younger, she would have got the fuck out of the way. So that's just like a natural causes thing. Okay, so those are
it's natural selection. Yeah, it's
yeah, so
like,
those are the celebrity deaths for actors.
mm,
Athletes in contribution to my wheelhouse. I'm gonna go through a list of athletes that died in 2020. Not 2021, because we have Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron just died as well.
yeah,
Tommy
I
Lasorda,
saw.
LA legend, won the World Series with the Dodgers. He passed away. Those are the people that made it to 2021, but I got to give them an honorable mention.
Absolutely.
So we got Kobe Bryant, way before his time. Tom Seaver, New York Met legend. No matter where he played after that, when you win a World Series, you could play for 5 different teams or whatever. But when it's time for you to retire, you sign a 1-day contract with that team you won the ring with, and you retire with that.
Absolutely.
You retire
You
with that
retire
team.
with, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. There's no other way to do it.
Who else? Don Shula. He was the Miami coach. He represents the only team that was undefeated. That played an entire NFL season undefeated. The Miami Dolphins.
Wow.
Dave Stern. He was the commissioner before our guy now. Phil Necro, again, my New York roots. He was the master knuckleball. He would throw a pitch that would leave the screen and land in the catcher's mitt. And you're like, how do I even hit this thing? Whitey Ford, Gail Sayers, football legend, Lou Brock, Cliff Robinson. Wrestling. I'm a wrestling head. Road Warrior Animal. There was the Legion of Doom. Road Warriors Animal and Hawk.
Yeah.
Animal passed away. His name was Joseph Laurinaitis. Now let's go to musicians. More our wheelhouse. Eddie Van Halen.
Oh my gosh.
Charlie Daniels. How many times did we sing "The Devil Came Down to Georgia"? You know.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Fire in the mountain, run, boys, run. The devil's in the house with the rising sun. Bill Withers. Till you use me up. Dun, 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 dun.
He died.
Well, ain't no sunshine, right? Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. That's Bill Withers. Actually, you could think of 5 songs. They're like, wait, that's Bill Withers? What?
Yeah.
Wait, whoa, that's Bill
'Cause I'm
Withers
like,
too?
wait, hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the Kanye West of like jazz music or like pop music. Little Richard, one of the innovators of rock music, for the people like Ice-T who contend that rock music was originally black music, like Little Richard, Chuck Berry were some of the originators of rock music, because Ice-T got a lot of heat in the past for doing rock in his rap albums, and he's just like, what are y'all talking about? It was originally black music, and kiss my ass, so
Basically, like,
yeah.
I'm gonna put on whatever I want.
Get out of here. Yeah. Well, when you reach that status, you
Yeah.
can reinvent things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Little Richard, Ruth. Okay, now politicians, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, that was a hard one.
Yeah. On the Basis of Sex, people. Great movie. On the Basis of Sex, about
Yes.
this journey this woman took to become, not only become a judge, but just to become an attorney. Harvard School of Law. I think was the first and only woman in that class. She was the only woman in that class.
Yep.
New York
that
Mayor
was a hard
David Dinkins, and John Lewis, a longtime Congressman John Lewis. So that's our little RIP list.
R.I.P.
Yeah. So let's talk
Maybe
about.
rest in peace.
Let's see if we can consolidate. What's some of the good things that happened in 2020 that we remembered?
The longest vacation of my fucking life. I got to spend more time with my child.
Yes.
I don't know anything in social media that was anything remotely good.
No.
People got more bored and put some good music out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I definitely
Ideas
spending time
were
with your
made.
kid is like, it's a critical time in our kids' lives too, right? Mine is 4, right? Yours is
7.
yeah. So that's when, yeah, man, that's awesome.
That was hardcore. Then Drew kind of brought up a point too. He was like, isn't it so sad that it's like the way you're thinking is you're like, I would have never gotten this time with like my significant other or with my son if the pandemic like didn't shut us down and we had that like crazy amount of time with our families. Like when am I gonna have that time when I retire and I'm playing with my grandkids? Like, I don't know. like if we're gonna be real about that. But
true.
like, man, like just to see this little human that I created. Like,
is he in
right
school?
before my eyes. Like,
Is he in school?
yeah, he's in school. He goes to school in Orange County. Like, he's been going through the pandemic minus the first couple months.
Yeah. Well, COVID and I mean CDC, World Health Organization, has kind of gotten on board. You know, he getting you a drink?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, if I didn't have work today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm saying is
just-
Drew getting you a drink? That's what I was trying to
No,
figure
he's getting me the charger so I can keep talking to you.
out. Oh, cool.
I don't want to lose you.
Well, we're pre-recording, so we're good. For me, the cool thing, CDC and WHO have gotten on board because they've done study after study after study that shows that kids should be in school. Without knowing the science behind it. I mean, this isn't the science podcast, right? This isn't this world's in virology,
The
people.
opinion podcast.
Look, if you want to know about infectious disease and be educated on this, it's called This World in Virology. That's a podcast full of scientists and this and that, and you're going to get an oversaturation of education on that. So if that's what you're looking for and that's what you want, oh, that's better. Cool.
That's better, yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
let me-
Like, holy shit.
let me
I don't know what it is.
move you this way. I could move you over like that.
Ooh.
But I thought the genius of 2020 was, and you will appreciate this, one, this virus is real and people were dying from it.
Yeah.
Two, it wasn't gonna end. We knew it wasn't gonna end in the summer. We were all warned there's a second wave coming in November. So anyone that says, oh, they promised it would be gone in 3 months if they wear a mask. That's not what they said. Okay, that's not what they said. They said this is the best way to prevent hospitals from being overrun. Oh, and by the way, October there's another wave coming. So, but the third part was, and this is one you'll appreciate more. The reality is people are not going to stay in their house and lock themselves in until it goes away. That's not how we, whether we're flawed or whether we're right or wrong, that's not relevant. That's not how we function as humans. That's just not going to happen. So if you're going to concede that people are going to leave their house anyway, the question of the how comes into play. I'll give you an example. The NBA, right? They wanted to go back to work. They created a bubble. They did Disney in Florida. They invented their own zip code. Nobody leaves. Nobody comes in. And they have 354 players, and there wasn't one positive test, you know?
Yeah.
And then for the playoffs,
incredible.
after a while, they started moving family members in and significant others because everybody's like, oh, but these players get to play, but what about their families? They don't get to see their families. I'm like, dude, you're getting paid millions of dollars. You're getting paid to play, and just find a way, because there are people that make significantly less, Liz, right? There are people that serve in the military that are away from their families, you know, for nickels and dimes, and you can't play a fucking sport. You can't play a sport for 2 months without your family. So, yeah, I don't know, miss me with that. So, but that was one of the geniuses of 2020. We as humans evolve, and we found a way to cope. You know,
well, that just shows how strong we can be, and you know what I mean, like can be. I still say that because not a lot of people have unfortunately survived this mentally. You know, like I don't know, like how a lot of people are doing it with like their mental illness, or like that's been like crazy, but the awareness is real. Like anywhere on social media, you'll see things pop up for like people that need to reach out for help. Like, we're here for you. Like, we're having text therapy. Like, it's pretty insane. Like, because those people who live alone, so sad. I'm like, I'm sorry. No human contact for you. Like, it's like what people, you will go crazy.
It's true. Yep. There are some people that can spend oodles amount of there are some certain mammals, of few unicorns, that are like, wait, I get to sit home and do nothing. Wow, I got like 6 video games that are still in the wrapper that I haven't played yet. I think that'll carry me for 6 months, you know. So there, I mean, I'm only saying that because for me, like, I have a woman and I have a kid, but if I didn't have them, I am one of those rare people that could be like, I'm alone, but I'm not lonely, you know? Liz, the loneliest I've ever been was in a relationship. Okay? So some people...
Nope, I've been there.
Some people are happiest alone, right? I mean, right? Right? For a long time, I was happiest alone. The conversation was better, you know? The sex certainly was, you know? A little bit heavy-handed, but
you know, sometimes it needs to be one-sided.
Yeah. So, no, but so, you know, if I'm with someone, I'm with them because I'm happier with them than I was happier alone. You know, there are certain people that wouldn't be happy without that person, but there's some people that were happy before they met that person, and their evolution of happiness has manifested because two people completing each other. There's just so many colors to that and this and that. Like you and Drew, man, that's an awesome couple. you know, and both of you. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of ups and downs, right? Like, there's a bad thing, but then there's a good thing that comes out of it. There's a bad thing and there's a good thing that comes out of it. There's some guy that hit a deer. I just read a story. This guy hit a deer, right? And his car was ruined. And then, like, 2 hours later, he found out he won the lottery. So.
Oh my gosh, he hit Bambi, then scored money?
Yes. Well,
I'm living in the wrong state.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you act like that was a cause and effect.
I wish that would be able to happen
Man,
for me out here.
Deer.
Oh, so I actually had a kind of not as exciting story happen to me the other day. we went to the grocery store, and I just found out that I'm finally going back to work and my ADD ran out. So I'm like pushing pennies right now, like, oh, just having a struggle. I look down to get into my truck and I see an envelope, $50, just random, $50. I was just like, is the universe just blessing me right now? Because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through with gas. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to get to and from work. Like, what is happening? And so I was like, little universe sprinkles.
Dude,
So
yes.
I'm like,
Oof.
not like hitting a deer and winning the lottery, but
Yeah,
hey,
man
$50
hits,
right now.
man hits two deer with a new car, then he hits the $2 million lottery. That was just the AP News, Associated Press. Let's check it out. An unlucky start to a North Carolina's man's day turned upside down when he discovered he won $2 million in the lottery.
Dude,
Good for him. Good.
2 deer. I thought it was one.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he hit like a family crossing the street. You know, I mean,
Oh
I
my
miss movies. I
goodness.
miss going to the movies. We miss karaoke.
That's a big one in this household. Karaoke, yeah.
Yeah. We were,
I need to
listen,
buy a karaoke machine. We were actually looking.
yeah, we were talking about karaoke as a form of escapism, where you were talking about shape shifting. Me, on my part, I would like to say that if you're in an ocean, right? And the ocean is 8 feet deep or the ocean is 100 feet deep, as long as you're swimming on the top, you know, however period of time, you don't really notice. You only notice it. You only notice it's deep
Mm,
if you can't swim anymore and you start sinking. If it's 8 feet, oh, no problem. I'll just hop, you know, whatever. I'll
mhm.
just swim to a shallower surface. So for me, like karaoke, they could have 6 people there, right? Or they could have 60 people. But if the people that I like to fellowship with are there, I always feel like I'm swimming on the top of the ocean. And I don't even know how deep it is. I don't know. I don't know. There's 60 people in. It's noisy as fuck, but I don't know that. I'm just with my people, you know. You make new friends at
Mhm.
karaoke, and that's the cool thing about that. So now, your ocean, you know, and the people that swim with you becomes even more of an escapism because, and that's the way I like to describe it. You can be in an ocean that's 6 feet deep or 60 feet deep, and you don't care because you and the people that you're with are you're oblivious to it. You're oblivious to it because it's our world.
Yeah,
It's
it's
our world.
true.
Yeah, it's our world. Why do you think I wanted you back on the podcast? I mean, these are things. There are certain things I could talk to certain people about that that are useful, that are helpful, that are entertaining. That's volleyball or this and that. But sometimes just interesting people are what you want on a show. Just talking about these things. We went everywhere last episode. We talked about street harassment. Remember the video, the street harassment
Yes, with
video?
women. Oh my gosh. Yeah, dude.
I remember that
Now
because
let's talk about those poor unfortunate souls that can't even date during quarantine. Zoom dates. Zoom harassment. Shit.
Zoom flirting.
Dude, I have Zoom flirting, Instagram liking the pictures. That's how, you poke someone on Facebook.
Yeah.
What do you do? What do you do now? That's crazy.
I guess you
Where's
just ignore
Miranda?
them. I guess you just ignore them. You know?
I guess that's true, but it's like, it's so sad that it's like when people do finally get out there into the dating world, if they're not already are, because let's be honest, like you said, you can't really keep people in the houses, but like, I don't know. I feel like I'd be creepy. I'd be like, so you like soup? I don't know what you want. You like soup? We could get all kinds of soup. I don't know. I can make so many.
Mm.
I don't know, dude. But like harassment is one of them that is, I hope doesn't come back around. It will, but just, ease into it.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, when in doubt, just ignore people. You know, like this podcast is taking off, and there's a site called Volley Talk, whatever, and some people like me, and some people are like, oh, that's the one guy I like the least or whatever. So, like whether someone says something positive or negative, I read it. Sometimes I'll click like or I'll put a thumbs up or whatever. And you really want to respond to the people that give you the negative feedback, but I think the more you're into something and the more you want to build your brand, you just don't. The number one rule is don't feed the trolls. Don't feed the trolls. Don't. I mean, because if you feed them, you make them relevant, and they just keep. And now they're far from being done with
Eating.
you. They're far from being done with you. You know, there's some.
Yeah, because they're like easy target. I can pick on that one. But here's the thing. I know myself.
Yeah,
I know I'm an easy target.
I mean, dude, I made a mistake on Volley Talk where I was reading posts from like a few months ago, and then like almost a year before that, it was like the same guy. It's like, you know, I'll listen to anybody except that Jason the Biz guy. I just said that, and then he said it somewhere else, and I'm like, and instinctively, of course, I go on Volley Talk, and I'm like, dude, I have some bad news for you. I have a girlfriend. You're just gonna have to get over me. You know, I mean, I love her and she loves me. So, you know, there is no us. You know, whatever. But, and I'm like, how do I fucking unring that bell? How do you and once you're on it, even if you delete it, like if someone wants you bad enough, they you know, I mean, think of all the celebrities whose tweets have been deleted, and they can't unring that bell because they have so many followers. I'm not saying I'm a celebrity, but I have enough positive and negative feedback where, as far as me getting to where I want to go, or just getting to wherever this journey takes me on its own, don't feed the trolls.
Don't feed. Yeah.
No. Honestly, I got a message from a girl, and I'm not gonna mention her name, but I know 3 girls with the same name. So sometimes I have a conversation with someone, and as I have the conversation, then I remember Jessica, or which Jessie, or this or that. Okay, so it's that Jessica. But then she was like, you should come on the Zoom, you know? And I'm like, oh, I'm going to Starbucks. And she's like, I'd like some of your cream with the coffee. And I was just like, what is she talking about? Is she, you know? So now I'm thinking like it's the Jessica that likes to joke around, you know, whatever, to play around. So I go on Zoom, and this girl is naked. She's playing with herself. And I'm just like, and you don't see the face. I still don't see the face, but you look at the body type and you try to put 2 and 2 together. And I'm just like, I still don't know who this is, you know? and I'm like, thank God, you know, my girlfriend will bust my ass if I know who that is, you know? But I'm
just be like, I have no idea.
So now I have 2 choices. I just keep watching, or I just click, I get out of it, I X out. So what do? I don't just keep watching. I have this recording device called the Ninja Assassin. Let me show it to you. Actually, I'm gonna put it on camera, show you what it looks like. So this, I strap to everything. It's right here. I strap to everything, and I just press record. Yeah, you press record, and you can export the file, and you can share the file. You can chop the bit rate if it's too big, and this and that. Yeah. So I actually just went to full screen, and I pressed record, and I just went. So, because, I mean, it was weird because I had already clicked on it, and maybe someone was trying to bait me into doing something, you know, like the same thing as them. Yeah. And then they're recording me, and then, you know, then they want to get paid, right? Maybe they want to get paid for, you know, hush money, or, you know, oh, your wife doesn't need to know about this and that. But I'm like,
you're like, no, my wife's pretty much going to see this recording.
Yeah. Well, actually, I told her about it. She doesn't know the full story behind it, but I don't. Let's just say I don't put myself in a position where I betray her trust. I do whatever the F I want. She does whatever she wants, but we don't. You know what I'm saying? She like, if she were me, she just X's out. She's gone. You know, but me, I'm an idiot. No, I would have kept watching, and I'm not turned on. Oh, yeah. No, but I'm not. The point I was trying to make is I'm not turned on or off by it. Like, you know, I mean, maybe the normal guy is turned on. Oh my God, oh there, oh. No, I'm just, the whole time I press record and I'm looking. I'm just trying to find something, another part of her body besides her vagina, that makes me know who the hell this is.
You're like, can you give me a clue?
So she X'd out. because she found out I was recording her because I dragged the file over, and like on Zoom there's a picture in picture, so her picture in picture was herself. So she kind of freaked out and like left, you know, and I'm like, wait a second, I'm freaking you out. I'm the one that's freaking you out right now. So it's so the reason why I'm even telling this story is if you're not sure, don't click on it. You know, if you want to reply to someone, type it, but don't click send. Typing it and reading it back to yourself and just thinking about the consequences. Like me telling this story, maybe I'm gonna get some heat from Kelly after the show. Maybe she's gonna see this and be like, why are you looking at naked women and this and that? I'm like, I'm not looking at nobody.
No.
I thought it, you know, I thought it was a friend. So, but if I had to go back, I wouldn't click it at all. I don't click on it at all. The only reason why I did is because I had a conversation that I narrowed it down to two Jessicas. You know, so again, it's not her name or whatever, but just weird 2020.
Dude, I don't. It's such a freaking rodeo show. I feel like it's like different acts of like the circus. You know what I mean? Like the first couple months, it was the trapeze act. Like, oh my God, are you serious? Like, massive fail. Then we got the elephants coming in on the third. Like, I just, it's so ridiculous that I try my hardest to stay the F out of it, because it's just like, it's like if I keep feeding into, oh my gosh, the death hornets, oh my gosh, what is the new 2021 thing that's happening right now with Kim and Kanye and their divorce? I'm like, hey, like, he obviously knows too much about the family, and like, you know what I mean? And you guys already deemed him crazy, so why don't you guys just deal with that in private? You know what I mean? Like,
but I think we're both also blessed with a quarantine, right? Like sooner or later, you socialize or you associate with a certain number of people. Like if my boy Greg, he's got a roommate situation as other volleyball players, and they basically, a lot of them live in the same building, or a lot of them live in the 2-block radius of each other. So maybe they get tested again, and they kind of have this inner circle where quarantine becomes quarantine. You know, the reason I even brought up the NBA. Like they showed, it was a very expensive way of showing anybody to do it. But they did it. 354 players, 0 positive test. The AVP, my wheelhouse volleyball, they didn't have a Disneyland, or they didn't have like a gated community, but they behaved responsibly where they only trained with each other. You know, a lot of them have roommate situations. Some of them, you know, volleyball, there's relationships in volleyball. One of my boy Eric Baranek, and him and volleyball hottie Gina, they you know, they've spent a lot of time together. So that those are examples of quarantine. And the AVP, they made the events happen because they got a film permit. Oddly enough, that's why I had Drew in the beginning of the show. They had a film permit. Instead of an athletic permit or a volleyball permit. I guess they thought they'd have a better chance of putting on the sporting event.
Yeah,
so
absolutely, that's so smart.
It was quite ingenious, if you ask me. They film permit, and I guess the players are just actors, you know. And I'm like, well, damn, can I fast forward to see who wins the game? You know, the results, you know. But I think the reason why I'm bringing that up is, at the end of the day, that's all sports is. Sports is just one big long film or short film where you're engaged and you don't know how it's going to end, and it takes you through these climatic series, these ups and downs, and it's very much associated with film and theater performance.
You are performing.
Yeah, I mean, this is why people watch wrestling. It's why people watch WWE. It's the result is fixed, but the stunts are real, and the activities. Yeah. It's real human
glow.
Yes, the only different. Oh, glow. Oh my God, I remember that. Jesus, gorgeous ladies in wrestling. Man, that turns.
Gorgeous ladies in wrestling.
Ooh, bunch of eye candy. But I think the only difference between performing and athletics is performing is real human behavior in imaginary circumstances. You know, where sports is real human behavior in, I guess, real-time circumstances. And that's it. So, for entertainment purposes, I sent you we're gonna. I'd like us to bounce back and forth, and we had this category called favorite films, as like top 5 favorite films that headlined or co-starred a hip hop artist. So
Oh,
I'd like to go first, and as I go,
please,
no, but
because
as I go first, they're gonna something's gonna pop in your head. So let me go first on this. Like, I have a top 3, right? One is Set It Off. That's with Queen Latifah, and it's Jada Pinkett Smith, Vivica Fox.
okay.
Um,
Yeah.
you 4 girls decided to, I guess down in their luck, they were like, what? One of them worked at a bank and her bank got robbed, and she's like, I know the guy that robbed the bank, and he's a dumbass. How hard could this be? So they
I love
eventually
that movie.
did that, and then and it didn't really end well. I think only one person came out alive, right? And she should have went to jail. They ended up letting her go. Or the guy saw her on the bus and just, I mean, it was just like, man, I guess enough people died today or got arrested. So that's one of my movies. My second one is Eminem, 8 Mile.
Yes.
And it's weird because it led to other smaller roles and this and that, but it didn't steer him as a hip hop artist to say, you know what? I'm done making albums. I think I want to just do television. I think I want to just do film and this and that. So, but that movie as a standalone, amazing. Amazing movie.
Oh,
But
I just got chills 'cause
amazing,
I just remembered
amazing
some of
movie
it.
by one of the top 2 hip hop artists of all time. I have him and Jay-Z in the same boat. Some people don't like Jay-Z's style, but Jay-Z's lyrical and his freestyle and the things that man's able to do and his impact on hip hop. I give Jay-Z the rub over Eminem, but I wouldn't take it personally if someone had Eminem ahead of him. I mean, I think they might be a little silly, but they're not completely out of their mind.
Yeah.
But my first one was Ice-T, New Jack City. And this came out in
Oh,
88,
wow.
89. And this is when crack cocaine as an epidemic hit the urban scenes. I'm from New York City. And the way it hit New York and how it's this rich person's drug, carved out of a rock, or grated out of a rock, that hit the ghettos, that hit like these poor neighborhoods, and how people that don't have a lot of money and how they reacted to it, and how do you police that, and how do you get drug dealers to stop killing each other for territories over that stuff. So it was one of the first real looks at how it ruins people's lives. I mean, because back then it was Nancy Reagan's Just Say No, right? And people that did drugs were bad people, and they weren't bad people. They were just addicted, and it's sickness versus evil. And that was the conversation that helped people understand. Sorry about that. And there was a little bit of a freeze there, but New Jack City helped people understand in the 80s, like, if you did drugs, you were a bad person. They consider you not a good person, where sometimes you're not good or bad, and sometimes if you're addicted to something, it's not because you're an evil person, it's because you're ill. If you're killing people over territory, you're not ill, you're evil. I mean, so do you see what this drugs does to kids or whatever? I'm like, kids aren't, I mean, at that time kids weren't buying drugs, so but it really helped open the door for people to do other movies.
Yeah.
Like shortly after that, Boys in the Hood came out. Shortly after that, Menace to Society came out.
Yeah.
So it was a segue. It was Wesley Snipes, who was the Nino Brown. He's a drug kingpin. Ice-T was the undercover, the UC. Judd Nelson, our Breakfast Club guy, he was in it as a detective. Mario Van Peebles. Really, really good movie, man. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. So anything come to your
That's a
mind?
good
Hip hop artist?
I mean,
Are you drawing
Girls
blanks?
Trip.
Which one?
I am. Girls Trip with Queen Latifah, but
Yes.
that's only because you said Queen Latifah. But that was I love that movie so much. What is it? Is it Jada Pinkett Smith, isn't it? Yeah, and then who else? Tiffany Haddish. Oh my gosh, and then there's one more, but I don't really know her.
Doesn't matter.
name.
But
Honestly, like the other roles like outshined hers, though. Obviously,
yeah, but
my opinion.
no, but I think it introduced people to understand the difference and differentiate sickness versus evil, right? Like the three strike rule is not going to work because if you're
Yeah.
neurologically addicted, you're going to have three strikes and you're going to go to jail. When you get out, you're going to go to jail for the same thing. And it doesn't, I mean, people were thrown in jail. It's because they're like, oh, he had so many chances. You know, all you need is a little bit of willpower. He has so many chances. That means he doesn't respect the law and he doesn't care. I'm like, no, he's,
No,
think about it.
it's
Think about it. If you know, for the people listening at home, if you know you get caught doing something again, you're going to go to jail and you do it anyway. It's not because you're irresponsible. Nobody wants to go to jail. And sometimes it's just a sickness. We're trying to get you a stronger signal. Is that what's going on? Yeah. It's just a sickness.
yeah. I was just trying.
You know? And then drug addiction transcended to other things. Like serial killers, right? Is that a sickness or is that evil? You know, I mean,
I feel like that one might be a sickness. I don't know if we're being rhetorical, but that one definitely, because you can't get it out of your mind. It's an itch that they can't scratch. You watch any movie on it, or you watch a documentary on serial killers, and then they put that serial killer right there in front of you, in front of the camera, and they're just like, it's something that I couldn't help. It was just in my mind. It was eating me. All I can picture was the girls that I wanted to tie up, or you know what I mean, like, or the families that I just wanted to murder. Like, it's just it's something in their brain, like a hiccup. Like with a hiccup, like it's until something stops it, and that would be in the serial killers. That would be them killing. Like, it's just gonna keep going and drive them crazy.
yeah,
That's insane. Oh my gosh, just thinking about it.
it is. I mean, but for years, people support the death penalty because there's some people they feel that they're just evil and they need to be put to death, or maybe they're just a sick dog that needs to be yeller, you know. But the thing that intrigued me about it, I read a play called Frozen. Not the movie, not the cartoon. There's a play, 3-person play written by a Brit whose name escapes me, Breonna Lavery. That's her name. And it was about a mother who 20 years later wanted to visit a serial killer who abducted and killed her daughter. And she wanted to visit him. And the person that made the visit possible was a person doing her PhD on serial killers. Her PhD was illness versus evil. And I learned a lot about the brain, parts of the brain, and her argument was why it would be considered illness. I mean, instead of evil. There's a layer on the brain, a cerebral cortex. It's a molecular layer which contains a few neurons. It's supposed to be like on the top of your head. Just to dumb it down for everybody. I'm turning science into bro science. It has to be. It's true, bro. So there's a molecular part of the brain, a cortex, that I guess more or less mediates your impulses. You know, you're still with me, right? Are you good? Okay. You're just trying to find a good signal.
Yeah. Just, you might see me a little frozen. Trying to.
All right, cool.
Trying to do it.
All right. So to make it more simpler, you're driving in your car, right? Someone cuts you off. Someone gives you the middle finger. You tell yourself, I could just kick the shit out of this guy. I could just get out of the car and kick this guy's ass. So there's that first impulse, right? And there's a part of your brain that mediates whether you're going to get out of the car and do it or not. So the cold, harsh reality is people think you're not supposed to have these evil thoughts. You're not supposed to have these thoughts. You're not supposed to think that way. You motherfuckers need Jesus, you know, or whatever. You need to pray. But the reality is there is a serial killer in all of us. There is a saint in all of us. There's a rapist in all of us. There is an adulterer in all of us. There is a thief in all of us, because there's a cerebral cortex of your brain that mediates whether you should do something or not. Now, Liz, with that being said, if that molecular cortex is damaged, let's say your parents hit you on the head a lot when you're a kid, and if that molecular cortex is damaged, then your brain is damaged and it affects your psychological growth. So now
Yes.
in turn, if that part of your brain is damaged, then you're just obeying all of your instincts. So a serial
Yeah,
killer,
like there's no filter.
yeah, so a
There's no
serial
filter
killer
at
sees
all.
someone that's attractive, he wants to abduct. If he was abused as a child, and if that molecular cortex on his brain was damaged in a way, he's just gonna feed his impulses. So that's
Absolutely.
why certain people who, I guess, people who molest children, or people who are serial killers, or people who rape, or people who I don't know, or punish themselves. There is a part of your brain, and I was trying to look up the name. There was a study from Dartmouth, and I think I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to put it up. Yeah, the cerebral cortex is the outer covering gray matter over the hemisphere, typically 2 to 3 millimeters thick, and there's a neocortex, and all of this basically is associated with your impulse and mediating your impulse. So that's why I lean more towards sickness than evil, you know? But I think it's interesting that the play was called Frozen, right? And when other people think of Frozen, when everyone else on this planet thinks of Frozen, they think of Anna and Ilsa, whatever. I mean,
The songs that
my
I
daughter,
normally do.
yeah,
Karaoke.
dude, my daughter wears the Ilsa dress every day to school, and I'm like,
Well, she
they're gonna
has
think
the
it's the
hair
only.
for it. I love it.
I'm like, dude, you're gonna have the people. Other kids are gonna think it's the only damn piece of clothing you have, man. We're gonna call social services on us, you know. So we got her Anna dress too,
Those
but
are gonna be your favorite.
yeah,
Oh, those are gonna be your favorite memories. Like, oh, I love it.
no doubt, no doubt. This one got Downables yogurt. That's what we're doing right now, right? So,
I can't help it. It's delicious.
oh my God. So, did you It's so weird. Like in the South Bay, like last year, there were a lot of demonstrations and there were a lot of protests, but I mean, where we live, there were like none, you know?
Nope.
Yeah.
There was one on the Hermosa Pier.
Yep.
And it went pretty well.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it went really well. Very peaceful. It was like everything you would hope for a peaceful protest. Just everybody coming together. It was just like, it was almost like a worship song. You know,
Yeah.
it was beautiful.
Which includes the
And
police.
I feel like,
Which included
like,
the police.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. But that's just the extent of our community here. You know, that's just, you know, it's quiet and it's peaceful and everyone, you know, is for everybody. And that was just such a beautiful moment last year. If we're going to talk about good things, going back to good things that happened last year, that was a beautiful thing that happened last year in
Yeah.
this community.
And I liked it because one, I always have praise for our police department. All right. I'm not one of them guys that are defund the police or you have to pick a side. I think if there's bad behavior in a bad precinct, bad police. If there's good behavior in a good precinct, good police. So
Yeah.
the question is, what are we going to do about the bad ones? And my answer is, and I think you co-sign with me, is show more examples of what good policing looks like. I mean,
Absolutely.
you want extra training, you want more hours training in the academy, you want all this other stuff. No, go to some of the departments that are doing their job, and when I say good policing, I mean public servants. I mean getting to know the people around you. Like our police know who's the homeless guy is. They know who the rich asshole is. They know the guy who's been stealing bikes. The guy's on their first name. You know, well, the whole damn neighborhood knows this guy, right? I think how many? You want to talk about illness versus evil, right? This guy keeps getting arrested for stealing bikes. You know,
bikes,
so
yeah.
no, but there are plenty of situations on the pier where people are drunk and they get in fights, and there are plenty of people who visit Hermosa Beach, and as far as de-escalating a situation and just being good police, man, this is they are. I think they should be the measuring stick, which a lot of departments should love and would love to compare. And I think that's all I want to say about that. But that, like you said, that was a good part
Yeah.
about last year. Man, that was really good. So.
That was beautiful. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, because my son lives in Orange County part of the time, and the protests that were happening out there, his dad, especially with minority, like it was just a really scary time to be in some of those places, and we lucked out. We really did. We were blessed with a peaceful protest and peaceful people in this community.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
I
It
also,
was, you know,
I also did think we did a good job of not letting politics hijack the narrative. Like Black Lives Matter.
that's also true.
Yeah, but like Black Lives Matter, like you can talk about who's contributing it, you know, which party supports it, or political this, political that. Or you can just look at it as a human movement. There are some people, you know, maybe they did nothing wrong, or maybe what they did wrong didn't, you know, warrant the death penalty, that are being treated unfairly and unfairly incarcerated on a comparative scale differently. And I mean, it's really nice to say, oh, don't break the law, but the reason why there are police there is because people mess up. People mess up. People sometimes they steal stuff. I mean, not to me, the people that should get shot are the ones who are shooting people and have a gun and might shoot the police. Not
When
not
they
not
physically
someone that's saying I can't breathe, not someone that's saying don't shoot, not someone that's turned around running away. So and the reason the BLM as a movement happened because those people on a larger scale happen to be African American. And as long as people take the politics out of it, then and accept it as a human movement, we can all understand each other, and we can all listen to each other, and we can all learn from each other. And that's what I think Hermosa Beach did really well. Like in the summer, the volleyball program I was with, we were thinking about just having a silent, like a 10 or 20-minute one, like on a beach, just big sign, just BLM, you know. And it's so weird that people, the only people that get upset over that when they see the sign are the people that already have accepted what their beliefs are, what their political beliefs are. You know, like, think about it. I wrote on Facebook, my post was the desperate need to want to be part of a gang creates gangsters.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You want to be part of this.
And
this,
idolizing
you want to be,
it in the rap community too.
Yeah, but you want to be part of this gang. It's no surprise that these people act like gang members. Like what happened January 6th at the Capitol.
God.
That was synonymous with people desperately wanting to be. I call it bad tribalism. You desperately want to be part of something, and it's very, very human because Bertolt Brecht, a playwright, said that change cannot happen through one person. Collective change. It's inspired by one person, but can only happen through a collection of people, and that you can do that in a good way, or you could do that in a bad way. But if you have this desperate need to be part of a gang, don't be surprised that when people start acting like gang members, you know, that was terrible. What happened at the Capitol? That was ridiculous, you know. And to me, the reason why there's even an argument is because people look for an opinion to have. Like, I don't have an opinion on this. Let me turn on Fox News. We'll see what they say. And that's my opinion. Let me turn on CNN or MSNBC. Okay, that's what they say, right? And BLM and like these human rights movements that we embrace humanity and just togetherness and unity gets hijacked by received opinion, right? Like, think about it. If the way our country's shaped, if you support the police, you're a Republican. And if you're anti-police, you're a Democrat. And it's such a lie.
It's
such a lie.
Man, if we had more time to get in on this, like, and I don't like to be put one way or another, because I have so many beliefs that change constantly on, research and, being involved with a certain person, or like, learning, constantly learning the knowledge that I love. Like, I love just gaining knowledge about one side or another. And I just have so many different like avenues, like on what I believe or what I don't believe. I don't like to be put in like radical left or radical right. Like, I hate that. Like, don't tell me I have to either, because it's my American right that I don't have to choose either one side. But it's so crazy you said that people are going, they're like, no, this is what you are, and this is what you are if you believe this. Nope.
Yeah, gonna have to miss
Sorry.
you.
I'm scared a lot crazy. Wherever we can cut that part out. But like,
no.
whew,
Well, that part cut out on its own. The signal. No, but I agree with you in the sense that anyone that talks to you doesn't have, if they don't have the first clue what political party you're with, then you're doing something right. Like Wendy Jones, who was she's the founder of the Optimist Journal. No one can peg her left or right. They peg me left or right depending on the day. Like, I can take an argument, like I support BLM as a movement, and because people are spoon-fed or instilled, like I said, received opinions, they automatically assume I'm a liberal. The next day I'm like, no, but 2 days later I'm like, what's wrong with having a gun? I don't care. What's wrong with owning? What's wrong with owning a gun? So now, if someone saw me saying that, okay, he's a right wing, whatever. So unlike you and unlike Wendy, I'm in this position where they already assume I'm one or the other. At least with you have the luxury of people not having the first clue. Me, I openly take stances on arguments, and just like you, when the facts change, so does my opinion.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Like, why be so stuck on no, but it said this. It said this in 2012, and I'm just going to stick with that one thing that they said in the social media world, and like what they were throwing at us in the newspapers, on Fox News, on everything. But then now, 2020, and I'm like, wow, well, let me like go over this in my head.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's think. We're evolving.
No, but that's what I liked about you. No, but that's what I like about you, and that's why I like having you on the podcast. I just think you got to put the human back in human beings. We can't just be beings, right? We have to be human beings, and
no,
anyone that can help me put the human back in human being is a win for me, And I so miss karaoke. I desperately miss, I desperately miss what we used to do.
On my heartstrings.
Yeah, I mean, I said this before, and I'll say it again. Like, for volleyball, it was my escapism, but when your escapism becomes your career, you need another form of release. Everything that's just bunched up inside, that you at some point, it's going to explode, and you could find that you could explode in a bad way, because you keep it all inside. It's like, Liz, what? Or you can find another way to emote that, and through us, it's through theater, and it's through performance, and it's through self-expression. You can sing a song that has nothing to do with the way you feel, but the people listening feel you. They feel you, right? You can sing Alone by heart.
Put it out.
No, but you could sing Alone by heart, but you're not alone. But like you said, it's just the emotion of whatever's inside you, and you just giving yourself permission to allow it to come out. Giving yourself permission to risk feeling like an ass. Maybe the song doesn't sound good, maybe it doesn't, but you don't care, because the people that you surrounded yourself with, it's all good. Right? Yeah. There's a difference between Hennessy's and Tower 12. Right, Tower 12.
There is.
Tower 12 is kind of a clubby environment, and I don't mean that in the negative inference, because that's fun too. To have songs that are,
that's for you.
No, but to have songs that everyone can dance to, or to sing or perform songs that are like big crowd, or or from Sweet Carolina,
like a group setting.
Yeah. But Hennessy's, it's a pubs over clubs thing. So The songs, the way you choose to emote at
Yeah.
Hennessy's and the way you choose to emote at Tower 12 are two different things. So,
Uh-huh. And I've done
and
both ways
yeah, they're both
uh, for a while. Like you like it too. I like Tower 12 during the day when I could go grab a beer and a drink and feel like completely like, safe in my environment
the
in my own
meatballs.
little
They're
bubble.
savage.
But that just goes to show that,
Sorry, go ahead.
oh my God. I cannot wait for them to like open up dining again because I gotta go grab some. But like then like that just shows like what kind of person I am when it comes, not person I am, but like what I feel like in the moment. I love going to pubs over clubs.
Right. Yeah.
Like give me the small, I want dirty, I want grimy. I want you to know when you walk in there, you're gonna smell the beer that fell on the floor a couple like weeks ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's stale. And like the people that have their bar stool, like, my feel. My feel.
Oh my God. Well, guess what? That's perfect time then. I'm getting hungry. Are you getting hungry?
I'm hungry. I'm starving. Actually, Drew already just made me food. He was like, for when you're done.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm so jelly. Oh, dude. So, man, this is 2021. All right. And I hope you get out there and you start performing again. I for sure hope Drew gets out there and starts working and performing again. And ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah,
yeah,
fingers crossed for him, guys.
yeah. Well, you too. We had this conversation about uh, what you want to do, where you think you belong in it, and just the general fears of, you know, right? I mean, for me, the only thing I can say about you is
Yeah.
your deepest fear is not that you're inadequate, but more powerful than than you can measure. That's a scary. Being more powerful than you think you are is scarier than is a hell of a lot more scary than thinking that you're not good enough. You know?
No, I know I can do it. I know I can, and I'd want to do it only for the sole purpose of making a difference.
Hmm.
And you put it so beautifully, putting the human back in human being, and that's what I would try to reach out to, and all positive vibes, and trying to just make my way through this life as best and bright and beautiful as I can. And that's probably one of the things that I will try to overcome this year. Maybe take some acting classes or really start getting out there just to put my foot in the door and kind of warm myself up to it.
Anytime you, Drew, and me want to workshop, just pull out a play and we'll just like cold read to each other, have a little fun.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to do that as a threesome, I'm in. I miss performing so much. I mean, again, I was in the BFA program at Marymount, Manhattan, and for 5 years I've done a ton of Broadway and off-Broadway stuff. And since I moved here, I haven't done anything. I haven't done anything.
Oh, well, then
why do you think karaoke is so important to me? Sorry.
We're just gonna have to change that. We have to do it.
Yeah, but honestly, workshopping helps, man. Anytime you workshopping is like a gym for actors. And I used to do that twice a year in New York, just to stay sharp. I would get two working professionals. I would get two students. I would get a director and a newbie. So it was always like a 6-person group, but it was always a mixture: 2 people who are in school, 2 people who are working, a director, and a 7th person who never did it, and myself. So we would do that twice a year. We would do that in July, the whole month of July, twice a week, and the whole month of January, twice a week. For an hour and a half or whatever. So it's just a gym for actors, and it was just scene work. It was some process and technique, but it was all moment to moment, like scene study, understanding the scene, and just being in the moment and moment to moment rehearsal for nothing. We do it for nothing, and I'd be more. And like I said,
I love that though.
Yeah. So but I won't forget that. We definitely got to reach out. We got to do that. Maybe we get a 4th person in too. That we know. We just continue to workshop. All right. Oh my God. So that's,
Yeah.
oh man. So let me tell you something, guys. Liz might love you, but I can't stand you. So we're out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 77 of the Option Podcast. For all of you at home, for all of you on your iPhones, for all of you on your iPads, for all of you on your Droid, for all of you on your desktop, who runs the world? Old school, old smooth school. Look at this smooth resolution. For Liz, Ribble, and for Drew Canan, who is in the back helping you make this happen. I'm Jason DeBeas. We love you to pieces, and we're out. Come check out the Option Podcast on OptionVB.com. It's also available on iTunes and Spotify, and on YouTube under the NY Varsity Sports handle. You're going to love what you hear.